I'm Matt Bishar with NAREITWeek here in New York City for REITWeek 2016, NAREIT's Investor Forum. Joining me for this CEO Spotlight is Drew Alexander, the President and CEO of Weingarten Realty. Drew, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, when we spoke in November, you said that Weingarten was cautiously optimistic about the potential for new development projects. Are you maybe aggressively optimistic or perhaps less optimistic now?
Really pretty much still cautiously optimistic. You know, we had a major transformation initiative that we started back in 2011 to focus on more major metropolitan areas, and that's true in our development pipeline as well. So we're working on very complicated projects that are where the people already are. So these projects takes years and years and years to put together. So really, since we spoke in November, it's steady as she goes. Not that much has changed, and we're still optimistic about a number of the great projects we're working on.
And tenant bankruptcies are obviously just, you know, par for the course in retail, and one of the larger ones we've seen in the last 6 months was Sports Authority. How was Weingarten impacted by that?
Not too much. I teach one class day at Rice University and have this long list of retailers who come and gone. It's just one of those inevitable things. So we have 7 sports authorities. It's under 1% of our revenue. We really don't know a lot since we had our last earnings call where we talked about, you know, if we got all 7 stores back, it will impact our FFO by about 2 cents for the rest of the year. So it's really not significant. It's something that we can work through whatever happens, and we should know more about that over the next several weeks.
You know, because it is part of the business, how do you plan, or, you know, sort of, it's an unknown, but how do you factor that into your strategy going forward?
We always pay attention to tenant credit quality. I think diversification is one of the major factors. Kroger's our largest tenant, and they're under 3% of our revenues. Part of why we only have 7 sports authorities is we've been a little worried about them for a while, so we haven't signed a new lease with them, and I think in about 10 years, which some investors that I've talked about at the conference have been sort of surprised at that, and likewise we've sold some centers. So, you know, it is one of those things that, you know, it's an inevitable part of retail, and, you know, we're always sensitive to both the financial and the operational strength, as well as focusing on good locations where there'll be other tenants who want those spaces if they come available.
And rental increases has been a goal for Weingarten, something you've been pursuing. How has that played out recently, and should we expect that to continue in the second half?
Quite well. Last quarter we were over 13%. A lot of it is that our occupancy, you know, has gotten up to that 96% level. So there may be some short-term setbacks, you know, Sports Authority, other things. But as we've repositioned the portfolio into areas with more barriers to entry, as the economy clips along and it's just sort of okay, you know, so-called Goldilocks pace, especially our value-oriented retailers like TJ Maxx and Ross, our supermarkets bring, you know, thousands and thousands of people to our centers every week. So our tenants are able to increase sales and we're able to increase rent. So, you know, long-term, the 13% we did last quarter was great, but, you know, we're optimistic that over an extended period of time we can be in that 10 to 15% range, and that'll contribute nicely to our same property NOI growth, which we hope will be in the, you know, 2 3/4 to 3 1/4 range, and it's a good value proposition for shareholders.
Drew, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
For more from REITweek 2016, be sure to visit REIT.com.